everyone. Why am I standing here talking to you about women, weed, and the wonders of the experienced economy? It's because they all are a great big gold mine. And there's one other thing they have in common. They are very much tied to the stigma. Each one a stigma. And my role today with you, my real goal, is to tear down that wall about the stigma for each of them. I look out and I see fabulous faces, young faces, men and women. And I look out and I see fabulous faces of those of us that are 50 years old and greater. And guess what? We are the baby boomers, and we are the experienced economy. Now, what in the heck is the experienced economy? It is our cohort of baby boomers who've been working our tails off for 30, and I hate to tell you, a lot more years than that, 30, 35 plus years. And guess what? We are not ready to quit. We are seeking our second, third, and maybe 10th act, and we need you to help us get there. There is no way we're about to slow down, and that's what's pretty exciting. And so this world of millennials and boomers need to get together to make it happen. And that's what this is all about, and wow, is this exciting because of the following. So what's interesting is that this concept is more than just a concept. We are rolling this out, and the we is, I was on a multi-city tour and came right here to Dublin last year to speak about this because the facts already support that by creating this opportunity to open the door, to really open the door for those of us who want to keep going, and that's most of us, guess what? We, even the boomers, are the ones who are starting most of the new businesses. But we also want to pair up with you, the millennials. And by doing this, guess what? You're creating opportunity for yourself, for your company or your firm, and for countries. The data's already in. Wealth creation is happening by understanding this and creating the opportunity. It's pretty exciting. So here's really what it's all about. In order to get there, you have to update your thinking. Let's change our mode. Even in this last group, I just heard the notion of breaking through on that, understanding what really getting older is all about, but it's not so bad, right? And did you ever think of this? We had nothing to do with the day we were born. If we could have changed the date, we probably would have, but heck, we had nothing to do with that. So here we are. And what do we do now? So here's the stair step. You see, here's what's going on. We are different than our parents or our grandparents. Think about it. In our 20s and 30s, 20s, we tried to get and probably did get a great education. Not something that many of our parents and our grandparents did. Certainly some, but not everyone. They didn't have the desire or the interest or even knew. And as you know, grandparents used to only send their sons to college. And you can believe me that because the men we are marrying and the sons we are having, those grandparents want their granddaughters to succeed, and the men in our lives want our girls to succeed. So there's some real sea change going on. So look what happens on the stair step. Education, then you put the building blocks together for building your business acumen in your 30s and 40s. Then hopefully we start making money in our 50s, 40s, 50s, and then all of a sudden here we are in our 60s. It's pretty wild. However, this is what's fun. We want to absolutely use the word refire. And we also want to use the word rewire. And don't you dare use this word when you talk to me. I have so many people that come up to me and say, "Hey, Jeanne, I heard that you retired from StarVest." I am proud to say I am one of the few women venture capitalists, and have been a VC for more than 25 years. So hey, it was time for me to do something new, but do not use this word on me. You can use this word, which is relevant, and certainly that's what we want, and that's what's pretty exciting. So here's what happens to get there. This is what I hear all the time. We say these stupid things to ourselves and to others. I'm too old. No one wants to hire me because I'm this age or that age. I don't know what to do. Are you kidding me? I've had that said by men who've been CEOs of companies. So understanding how to leverage your incredible superpowers, that is so important. And then, how do I connect? So hopefully you paid attention here to Kelly Hoey, my good friend, and to Ann O'Day, who has created this vibrant community. Here we are. We can connect with each other, and that's what's so important. I think that is really so exciting to be able to do that, and that's what takes you there. So here's a breakdown of the generations. You probably know this, but here's something you may not realize. In the U.S., and these ratios are the same throughout Europe, there are 80 million of us that are the baby boomers. We're 50-ish to 70-something. Here's what's interesting. The millennials are the same number. There's about 80 million in the U.S. of millennials, 21 to about 34-ish. And see, the Gen Xers and the Gen Yers are in between, and they're a much smaller group. So look what's going to happen. There's really a workplace gap. And that's why this economic prosperity idea is important to understand. And that's why getting together and combining for what we're calling intergenerational opportunity is so important. Because guess what we want to do? We have the experience, we have the knowledge, we have the Rolodex. Guess what? Our hair doesn't usually get set on fire during a crisis, because we've already done that trick. We want to fund you potentially. We want to be on your advisory board. We want to be on your board. Guess what? We want to be on your C-suite potentially and still keep going because we have high energy and that's just in our DNA. Now, look at you, the millennials. We admire you for your creativity, for your strong interest in entrepreneurism and ability, your social media, but I stayed one whole snowy weekend in New York where I live, and I taught myself Snapchat because I'm not going to be left out. Certainly, some 20-year-old decided that no one over 35 was ever going to be able to use this. It's so crazy. So link with me on that. I'll show you. And I even do Snapchat videos, so there. And so what's really important is this intergenerational piece, and let me tell you one more piece on that. I was here a little over a year ago, and we were so excited to talk about this experience economy because we showed the second best exotic Marigold hotel in preview. And that was thrilling. I've seen it many, many times. And if you've seen it, or even if you haven't, Maggie Smith, who was a housekeeper her whole life in the movie, helps this young hotelier who's running a hotel in India get his act together. She even leads him to an investor. The investor loved her so much, he even created a second hotel, so that's what happened. Judi Dench says, I'm 79, I'll take the job. And takes a job in the customer service department, bunches of millennials, and shows them the way. That's what I'm talking about. So guess what? The fabulous banker executive here in Dublin said, I never thought of this. I could fund you if you're starting a business in that experienced economy cohort. We loved it. That's what we wanted. And in New York, you know what the crowd said? They said, how can we find each other? So think about that. Think about, as you millennials are building your business, to seek us for your investment or for your advisory board. We would love that. And that's how we're creating this economic prosperity all around. I love showing this. The Japanese were wise enough to create this. The word is aikiji, and it means the reason for being. And you heard Brenda and Zoe earlier today, and Anne and others say, Do what you love, because what gives you energy is in the center. What gives you joy. And look at this, isn't it wonderful? It's a combination of all those things. How can I make money? What do I love to do? What turns me on? I just think it's so exciting to view it this way. It really pulls in a lot. So I think that's the way to really, truly find, your energy. So here's what's happening. How to make it happen. How to make this whole piece happen. It takes knowledge and education, access to capital, the role models we need to show the way to each other, the ecosystems, opening the door, the advisory. And guess what? This is a proxy for what's happened for high growth women. I am so proud to be on the board of ASTIA. I'm proud to be part of ASTIA and other groups that focus on women. And there's wonderful communities right in this room that have that focus, because that's what's creating the breakthrough. And that we have funded more than 40 companies in ASTIA, and many of these groups of communities are funding and focusing on women that need that access. That's what we need to do here. It's the same story regarding this experience economy group, creating the same kind of ecosystem, thus creating prosperity. So that's the intergenerational combination. So this is one of my favorite proverbs. It's an African proverb. If you want to go fast, go alone. But if you want to go far, go together. I love that. That really speaks to me. So let me take you into my Aikiji, my rewire, my refire. I stood on the stage in Denver in February with 1,400 women building cannabis businesses. And as you may know, it's a pretty exciting business in the US. Now, I studied everything of what's going on in Ireland. You guys are still in the dark ages, but don't worry, you will get there. And it is indeed the drug of choice. I did question that when I read it, because what about Guinness and Jameson? But it's definitely well used. Yes, I see people asking about it. The word of the day is cannabis. We no longer use the M word because guess what? That has pejorative overtones, racially motivated, and so most of us in the business are using that word. It's a wonderful word. Here's what a little quick short course, walk around the block. And the reason I'm bringing it up is, guess what? Women are dominating this world because we care about the health and safety of our families. We don't want to smoke or use products that have pesticides in it. We want to understand the potency. We're the ones making and consuming the edibles, which are now outstripping flour, that's the other term, and the oils in Colorado. So here's what got me over. I realized that the war on drugs was a war on people. I was shocked to learn this. It was just like the women thing. I was shocked to learn where women are and aren't. I was shocked to learn that the war on drugs is truly a bad thing. It's a cheap, terrible excuse to put young Black and Latino men in jail, and it's a civil rights issue. Do we really want the government telling us what we could eat or drink or do to our bodies? And it's an economic issue. So back to second and third and 10th Act, you want to play and play big. It is already a $5.4 billion legal industry in the U.S. It is a $60 billion black market. Let's turn that black market into tax, into revenue, into opportunity, because that's what needs to happen to really scale it. So it's pretty exciting. So I say to you, it's really a thrilling world, and so think about that. And I am just so excited to be playing in it. So let me just share a tiny snippet with you. I just want to tell you that it was indeed 70 years ago that we got fabulous Wonder Woman. She was a fierce warrior, but she was kind and gentle. And she had a few tools. She had She had a lariat of power. Take this and go lasso for yourself a great investor or a great team to join. Take these armbands and let them fend off the jerks and bozos that stand in your way. And take her tiara and use it to take down the walls of stigma for aging in the workplace, for cannabis, and go build your fabulous businesses.
Want to be in the audience next time? Click here for tickets to Inspirefest 2017.